Welcome to Season 2 of the Erotic Realm podcast, where we explore the world of eroticism, one erotic realm at a time. I'm Em, a sexologist and kinkster. The mission of the Erotic Realm is to humanize desire in all of its forms, including darker desires. Each episode, we dive deep into the psychology of desire with a sexpert, everyday kinkster, or a kink expert. This is an independent podcast. To support it, please consider becoming a paid subscriber at psychologyofdesire.com, where you'll also find deep dives into desire and surveys that you can participate in. You can also sign up there to get the podcast delivered directly to your inbox when it's released. If you'd like to support the podcast, please consider checking out the brands that support the Erotic Realm. There's Firm Tech, whose tech ring offers fascinating insights into sexual health by tracking erection quality and nocturnal function. Splash Blanket, who create luxurious waterproof blankets designed for comfort, intimacy, and real-life messes. ProDX Health, who offer discreet, at-home STI testing. While Karoo and Lovents make premium pleasure technology, from couple toys to long-distance interactive devices. Then there's Lioness, who are doing something truly unique in sex tech, using biofeedback and orgasm data to help people better understand their arousal. I'm also partnering with Flow and Desire, science-backed libido support supplements designed to support sexual vitality and well-being. These are brands that I find genuinely interesting, science-backed, and I've used them myself, so they come with my recommendation. You can find the links to all of them in the episode description. If you try them, use the links below. It supports the show at no extra cost to you. And now, back to today's conversation. The following episode explores why finding appropriate support for sexual concerns can still be so confusing and what it might take to build a better system. My guest today is Michael Corner, the founder of Orgasmic Wellness and a business transformation specialist who has spent more than 35 years working across industries and countries before turning his attention to the fragmented world of sexual health. Together we explore what sexual wellness actually means, why people often struggle to know whether they need a doctor, therapist, sexologist, coach, or another kind of specialist, and how shame, poor information, and disconnected services can prevent people from receiving the right care at the right time. This is a conversation about the systems surrounding desire and the future of making sexual well-being more integrated, evidence-informed, and accessible. Enjoy. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Erotic Realm podcast. So usually on this podcast we explore the psychology of individuals, but today we're zooming out a little bit to explore the psychology of an entire industry with Mike. Mike, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome. Hi, how are you, Emma?
I'm great, thank you. Hope you're doing well too. Excited to chat to you. So before we jump into your business and talk about Orgasmic Wellness, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and your background?
I've got, it's pretty boring, accounting, law and finance background. Been working as a strategic advisor for 35 years around the globe, the last 10 years or so in the Middle East, and have worked on many different continents all over the place. But that's from a professional viewpoint. From a personal viewpoint, I've always been into the health and fitness and diet and exercise and all of that sort of thing, which has, I suppose, led me down to the path which I'm coming to now. Helping people has been something that I've done for over 3 decades, but now I've decided to actually do something meaningful in respect of helping other people, but in a broad scale is where I am now, trying to put a lot of the, information that I've learned personally and from a professional sense, and actually building something. So it's the first time I've actually built something. So with all the skills behind me to do that, this is where it's led me to where I am at the moment.
Okay, well, spending more than 35 years transforming businesses around the world doesn't sound boring at all. But I'm curious to hear, so you mentioned that you're building something new now involved in the health industry. What is it that you're building?
Essentially, what I have built, and it's just gone live a couple of weeks ago, is a platform. Now, what this platform is essentially I'm trying to be able to do something a little bit unique, and that's mainstreaming sexual wellness. This is something that a lot of people still hide behind. They don't seek help, and there isn't really a lot of help. There's so much taboo around that sort of thing. So, if I take, I suppose, a bit out of the health and fitness area and looking at it from a holistic point of view, this just seems to be one big niche that no one's ever really attempted to do something big with. So I've taken that on to be able to do two things. Number one, I want to be able to help people assess what their problem may be or how there can be some improvements, whether it be from a erectile dysfunction perspective or a menopause side of things, and go through we have a questionnaire on the site that basically helps people be able to identify where some of these issues may exist. And then at the other end, we're triaging that with a specialist. And from that, we are then able to give that particular person the ability to talk to specific specialists from all over the world who deal specifically in those particular issues. So it's about make something easy. And we're also, the telehealth centre should be up in hopefully the next couple of weeks, which takes it to another level. What that's going to be able to do, imagine this, 24/7 global access to sexual wellness help. So be in a position of, I'm in the US and it's nighttime, whereas I know people in Australia are at work, and I can get online and I can basically talk to someone about my problem pretty much straight away. So it's really about giving people access and remove some of the stigma and get to the point where they're able to seek the help in the comfort of their home, from their phones, basically to be able to help them out. That's what I'm trying to be able to do. The difference is I'm doing it globally from day one. I mean, we've got a reasonable amount of specialists on the site already from the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, some parts in Europe. We've also got some specialists on, all with their own different areas of specialty, but it's about being able to help everyone, really, and being able to sort that out, because no one helps people in this way. I mean, being a guy, we don't talk about this sort of stuff. And it's something that I think that's just silly. We talk about going to the gym or going on a diet to be able to reduce our calories. But if we've got a problem with our, erectile dysfunction, or we've got a problem with premature ejaculation, we would never say that to anyone. And this is just crazy to me, absolutely crazy. So this is where I'm trying to break down some of those barriers to be able to make it more mainstream and people talk about it a little bit more. Because, if you look at the point of view of, I've got a toothache, straight away, no problems, I go to a dentist. That's just the way that works.
Right.
So why can't sexual wellness be the same?
Well, it sounds like a fantastic idea, and thank you for having the initiative to build it. So let's break it down a little bit. How would you describe or define sexual wellness?
Sexual wellness, to me, I look at health in general as being very holistic. So sexual wellness just being part of someone's overall health. So, for instance, if you're a person who has very high cortisol from stress and, you're working all these different hours, you don't get time off, all of these sorts of things. That produces cortisol. Now, cortisol is a major issue with sexual wellness. So it's about that holistic thing. Diets, the amount of food that you eat can also affect your testosterone, for instance. So having foods that boost your testosterone or have nitric oxide. So things, eating a lot of watermelon and beetroots and things like that increase blood flow.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it from the point of view that if you're healthy and you do predominantly, you get your right amount of sleep and exercise and your diet's pretty reasonable, in that respect, your sexual wellness is going to be improved. What the one area where it doesn't work, and this is where I find talking to a lot of different people, is the specialists. So you have a urologist or a gynecologist and they do the medical side, they fix things up, but it's from the shoulders up. And that's where probably one of the biggest issues I see being a problem. I mean, you can have best diet, best exercise, very, very healthy, but you suffer from, say, erectile dysfunction once, and the next time you're in that sort of environment, you've got thoughts going through your head. Is it going to happen again? Is it going to happen again? And it just leads to it happening again. So it's one of those things. So from my perspective, good sexual wellness is about an extension or very much part of your overall well-being, because it's healthy. It's healthy to have, be in a relationship, but a healthy relationship. It's healthy to be able to be in an area where, you feel desired or, you enjoy having sex. These are all the things which are all, for me, go hand in hand.
Was there a particular moment where you realised that this was something that you needed to build, or was there a particular period in your life where some events happened that you realised this was the path that you needed to take? How did you actually come to this decision of creating Orgasmic Wellness?
I think it was from the point of view, and I remember I was in the Middle East, and because I was, the early 50s guy getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, going to the gym and all of these things in that fitness mode, and all the diets. And I had a lot of people around my age and a bit younger who were struggling. They may have massive bank accounts and driving nice cars, but they had the little pot belly and things didn't work as well as what they had used to have worked. And then people started talking to me and asking me questions, thinking, you're pretty fit in that, so I'm having problems. What can I do in that respect? And then I suppose even so from the female side of things, a lot of, and this is probably one of the biggest problems I still see now, even though it's more and more people are talking about it, it's the perimenopause, menopause stage. A lot of women just don't understand what the body changes are. They know that there are changes and they're going through them, but they just don't know what they are. And they put it back. Why am I keep on putting on weight? I've got the right diet. I have the right sleep. I have all the right things happening. But still there's issues there. So in answer to your question, it comes back down to people just started asking me more and more questions. And I just thought, these people in general should know these answers. I do. And I'm not an expert in any of this. I learn and I research and looking at it from that point, I said, no one talks about this. It's a gap in the marketplace. And I've always been known to be someone that, have a crack at something. And I just thought that in this context, why not? I'm very open and I talk about all of these things to everybody. Very interesting barbecue conversations, but at the end of the day, it's something that no one wanted to touch. And people still not. And the more and more I talk to specialists, that gap was just becoming so evident. So I thought, take my business experience, understanding of how a lot of things work, and create a model that can basically try and solve this problem.
Mm-hmm. I'm just smiling as you were talking there because you said have a crack, and it's just such a lovely Australian thing to say.
Yeah. Well, it is. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you understand it, so that's good.
Oh, yeah, of course. So you've traveled around the world. Have you noticed much difference in sexuality and how culture impacts it around the world? Or did you notice these same types of patterns that you've been speaking to?
I found, yes, there was. There was a lot of different differences. The Middle East taught me a lot, just because there are just so many different cultures and nationalities all in a smaller type area. And even if I look at the types of women, the different nationalities that I would go out with, and they were very diverse. And there were a couple different nationalities where there was more cultural side of things. But the biggest thing that I found was education.
Mm-hmm.
People they grew up in a certain headset, and they wouldn't do this or they wouldn't do that, and they shouldn't do this because that's bad. It's coming from their upbringing a lot of times, or from a cultural aspect, looking at it and saying, yeah, I don't want to do that, even though they've never done that. That sort of thing. And a lot of it's from that point of view, experience and knowledge. And I think that's pretty much across the board. And I mean, I found a lot of Western Europeans very open, very, very open. Americans, very, very open. But some other cultures, not as much open. And there was nothing religious involved. It was more about the fact that they didn't understand that something that was okay. They've been told and brought up in a way that, no, you don't do that. Oh, when you get married, yes, you do that. That sort of thing. Really interesting for, women in their mid to late 40s and early 50s. I was just a little bit blown away by that, I think. Just the difference across the board. So, yes, differences everywhere.
And what about you? Can you share a little bit about your own sexuality and how you identify? And perhaps I'm also curious about why you're so open sexually, and have you always been this way?
Obviously, identifying as a normal heterosexual male. This is the way it's always been. I think the reason why I've always been very, very open is I've had a lot of experiences throughout my life, and coming from an Australian background where you say what you say, and I've never stopped doing that across any subject. And I suppose for me it comes from a confidence side of things. I would say it. I don't understand why I would have to do and say something that was against or not against what I want. If I say that that's what I think, well, that's what I think. And that's probably just transgressed across to this particular topic as well. I'll talk to anyone about anything in that respect, and hopefully do it in a half intelligent way.
Say it how it is. It's a very Australian
Really
way
much.
of speaking.
Exactly. And look, everyone's got their opinions, and that's fine. But I also have an opinion. The difference is I'm not afraid to voice my opinion.
Right.
And being in the Middle East initially taught me that. That taught me certain things. You say certain things in certain places. So, yeah, I did that. I still didn't calm myself down. I was just a little bit more, how shall I say, I chose my words better.
Yes, I'm sure it was a little bit of a learning curve.
Yes, definitely.
So one of the traditions on the podcast is exploring a quote with my guests. And today I found a quote from healthcare quality pioneer Don Berwick, who was a former administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services in America. And he famously said, "Every system is perfectly designed to get the results it gets." And I love that quote because rather than blaming individuals, it's asking us to step back and examine the system itself.
Absolutely.
So when you hear that quote, when you hear that quote, what comes to mind? And do you think sexual wellness has been held back more by these fragmented systems that's been happening more so than a lack of expertise?
Yes, 100%. And look, said I've spoken to a lot of people in the last 6 months, and my education's gone through the roof. But the big point is the gap's huge. If you want to find anything out about anything, you've got AI. You want to be able to find, so you can educate yourself, but that's part of the reason why Orgasmic Wellness exists. It's the pathway. A lot of people get there, I need to do something, but they never do anything. And if you look at something like confusing, we're talking to sexologists. 99% of people don't know what a sexologist is. Then you've got somatic sexologists, psychosexual therapists, and they all do similar, but they do different. And it's understanding what all of these things do. And this is where the big fragmentation of someone goes, I've got some education, but I don't know what to do. So you have that, and then you throw in the fact that a lot of people are a little bit shy still in being able to seek help. Sitting in a doctor's office talking to someone about something, or they're going to the wrong specialist. And this is where they don't want to waste time. So, I agree completely in the fact that there's segmentation of those gaps everywhere is the thing that is the biggest problem by far. And again, it comes down to knowledge and pathways. Really, really simple.
Yeah, so I always explore a research article with my guest as well, and I found something from the World Health Organization that seems to back up what you're talking about as well. And they have been saying that sexual health isn't simply about treating individual problems, but it requires coordinated systems that integrate physical, psychological, relational, and social care. And they're talking about how they don't necessarily need more practitioners, but about helping people find the right support at the right time.
Correct.
Yes. So why do you think sexual wellness has remained so fragmented compared with other areas of healthcare? Is it just stigma, or are there other factors at play here?
I think it's probably 80% stigma and 20% just not knowing where to go. Like I said, you got a sore tooth, you go to a dentist. It's very clean cut. But, if you've got menopausal problems, and look, within menopause itself, there's, 20 different types of problems that can exist. How do you know that that's actually attached to menopause? Or, and I think I go back, based on what you just said then, it comes back down to that holistic part. Being holistic, looking at all the different facets are, I suppose, underlying. Someone goes to a doctor and they're low libido. Okay, what does that mean? Does it mean that there's a stress problem? Does it mean it's a psychological problem? Is it a relationship problem? Is it a diet, exercise problem? Is it a pain problem? And this is where I said that fragmentation still exists. And this is what we've tried to do with the platform. And this is why we put the Q&A at the start, to be able to say, right, okay, you're here because you've got an issue or you've got a concern that you want someone who is specifically able to handle and help you. Go through here, answer some questions. We've got a specialist at the other end, and they will be able to point you in the right direction of the people that are relevant to helping you. And that's what I'm saying. It's a pathway. And it just takes away a lot of the guessing. It takes away a lot of the, I suppose, the stigma side of it, because it's very much about a personal journey. So they said they can be sitting there on their phone, they can be sitting there on their computer. They don't have to go to a doctor's office to do it. 90% of the stuff that we're currently doing is all done online. Most practitioners do stuff online, and it just seems to be a better way of being able to do it. But also, we're doing it a little bit differently, because we're treating the actual problem, not identifying the specialist. So you go to a lot of different sites on different things, and they say, okay, here's all the services we have, here's all the specialists we have. But they don't actually match that back to what all the different areas that can be an issue. Whereas we look at it from the point of view of all of these different areas, from emotional to physical, psychological, and you tick the ones that are relevant, and that then will also pull up relevant specialists if you just want to go and have a chat with one of them.
So it's like a specialist matching service.
To a degree, yeah, to a degree. But we've got the triage side of it. We've got a 24/7 human on the other end of a phone to be able to help people point in the right direction. With the telehealth side of it, that'll be manned 24/7 as well. So basically you can ring up and someone will actually be able to talk to you and book and help you out. Because, again, it's assistance. And I've made a conscious decision to use humans. Yeah, AI is great for doing things, but I want people to be able to talk to humans. Sexual wellness is a human thing.
Yes.
So talk to humans.
Yes,
you know?
I love that.
And it's just the way I've wanted to do it. And look, it's been great feedback. I mean, we've had several thousand views of the site, and it's only been up a couple of weeks, and it's there in the form that there's interest. You know, we just need to be in a position that people start to break their thought processes down and hopefully sort of reduce their hesitancy to actually get help. They need help, or find out more about things, and rather than, you know, from a guy's perspective, just going to the doctor and getting a blue pill or a yellow pill and you be on your bike. It doesn't solve the root cause, and that's where, from my perspective, where it all needs to stem from.
So it sounds like you've been on quite a journey while creating this platform.
Yes, looking forward to a day.
Yeah. What's something that you've learned about human sexuality that has surprised you through this process? Sounds like you've been talking to a lot of different experts and having really interesting conversations. Has something really stuck out to you?
Relationships and boundaries. One thing that's really stuck out for me. In the past, and this is from a personal perspective, I've always looked at it from a there are boundaries and there are thought processes, and talking to so many different people of what would be what is considered normal and what's considered normal, if that makes any sense. So from my perspective, there's two different normals and boundaries and all of these sorts of things like that, and especially comes back to relationship dynamics. And I've just learned a lot about that. And next time I'm in a relationship, I will be taking some extra things on board, that's for sure.
Oh, isn't that great? You got an extra education on the side while you've been creating it.
Look, I'm always learning. You know, the way I look at it, you always learn. And I'm like a sponge. I just pick up and I learn and I learn and I learn about different things, and I love learning about different things. I mean, it's a bit like the platform. As I say to everyone, I'm the business guy. You guys are the specialists. If there are things there that are going to improve, is there things there that are going to help other people? Let's have a look at it. You know, I mean, one of the areas that we've just created that went live a couple of days ago, we've got a provider login where they can go and sort of like a LinkedIn for sexual wellness specialists. They can message each other, they can refer, they can join groups, they can chat, but specialists learning from other specialists from all over the world.
How wonderful.
Just something completely different. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so as I said, I'm sort of the outside looking in. I'm building, they're helping.
Right.
in that way.
So who is Orgasmic Wellness for? Who is your targeted audience?
Targeted audience is men and women from probably 25 to 70. That's it, across the board, men, women. Because, look, sexual wellness in some way affects everybody at some time in their lives. It's a fact. So, and we just want to be the types of people where if someone's got a problem or they're going through something, they know that they're going to get looked after. There's help there to be able to have people, but it's the right people to help the right people. We've got people in there that are specialise in past traumas. So if someone, when they're going through the Q&A, they've got some issues with past traumas, we're going to match those people who have the expertise in helping those people. So that's really where we're trying to be helpful in that particular way.
Yeah. So what's the vision? Where do you hope Orgasmic Wellness is in, say, 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I hope Orgasmic Wellness is, we're global now, even though it's only very small. I hope to have many, many different specialists from all over the world. I also want to expand the amount of different services to some more holistic services. So we can look at Chinese medicine, we can look at Ayurvedic, we can look at dietitians and physios, that complementary side of things. I want to be able to set it up in hubs. So, for instance, China, have it put into Chinese so that people from the world can access their own specialists that they feel comfortable with, or access specialists anywhere they want. So for me, it's more about growing specialists and services to every part of the world that I can, and then basically raising the bar of helping people get help. And that's going to take time, but why not? I start. I'm going to continue growing.
I love the vision.
This is it. Well, I'm actually, look, it's hard work, but I'm actually really enjoying it. It's been fun. Learning in a different area, and even with social media and posting things and LinkedIn and all the different things we're doing, sometimes I do it with a bit of smile because I think that's not going to upset anyone. But again, as you're aware, the website it's all done in cartoons. And people like cartoons because it just takes away a little bit of that in-your-face side of it. It sort of calms it down when they're talking about those sorts of things. And we can play a little bit with that as well from a cartoon, which you can't do if you're using normal pictures.
True. Okay, so say there's someone listening who has been quietly struggling with a sexual wellbeing concern. What's the very first step that you'd encourage them to take?
First step is to very, very easily go to the site and do the Q&A. That's simple. Doesn't cost you anything, totally confidential. And once the Q&A has been done, we will be taking the Q&A. We have a specialist who looks at the Q&A, and then we have recommendations that we send back to the person that did the Q&A that, based on what you've given us, these are the things that we think that would be helpful, and these are the types of specialists that would be good to be able to go and have a chat with. But you don't have to. We're trying to create that pathway for someone to be able to access the right help, the right things, if they want it. It doesn't cost them anything to go down that particular pathway.
Right. And what about privacy? Can someone use a pseudonym if they're concerned about the privacy of the information that they're giving you?
We don't ask for full names. We just you go in there and say whatever your name is. You can go there and say, I'm a barstool. The only thing is, the only issue we just have an email address, because obviously we need to email you back the results and things like that. Apart from that, you can be Joe Blogs. That's fine.
Yep. Okay. And is there anything else that you'd like to speak to, another topic that we haven't covered today, or another aspect of orgasmic wellness that you feel we haven't covered?
Yes. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just something that we just need to be able to change. And we need to be more open with these things.
Yep.
People, it's a normal part of life. So the more people that start having conversations, the more people that talk about different things, you're going to get less issues. You're going to have stronger relationships. But it's so holistic, and that's what I'm probably trying to get at. It's so holistic, but we just need to try and bring it down a bit. That's all. So people talk about it. I talk about it very easily, but that doesn't mean friend next door is going to talk the same. I just need to be able to create and close that gap.
Yep. Well, it's a great mission. So thank you for going on that journey. I'm sure many people will benefit from it. So where can listeners find Orgasmic Wellness and follow what you're building and do the Q&A?
On basically, www.orgasmicwellness.com.
Cool.
And basically from there, you can talk to us. We have a phone number. We've got basically as many ways as you can contact us, do the Q&A. We're on social media. We're all over the place and growing. We're growing is what we're trying to be able to do. But look, at the end of the day, we're there to help. And this is what it is. It's the starting of being able to try and mainstream sexual wellness so that everyone can have a happy, fulfilling life in that particular area. That's it. I know it sounds pretty basic, but that's what we're trying to be able to do.
Wonderful. Well, Mike, thank you for taking us into a different part of the erotic realm today. And I really appreciate how you've stepped back to explore the systems surrounding desire and what the future of sexual wellness could look like. And it's easy to assume that the biggest challenge around this is stigma, but you've also showed that access and structure matter too. And I think this episode will give listeners hope that sexual wellness is evolving into something far more integrated and accessible than ever before. So thank you for exploring this part of the erotic realm with me today.
Thank you, Emma. Thanks for your time. It's been great.
Thank you again. I'm Em, and this has been the Erotic Realm Podcast. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Erotic Realm Podcast. This is an independent podcast, and if you want to see more episodes made just like this one, you can support it at psychologyofdesire.com by becoming a paid subscriber and entering the realm with many other supporters. The mission of the Erotic Realm is to humanize kink and desire in all of its forms, and we can't do that without you. So until the next time, stay perverted.